Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Office of Student Success event called Procrastinate or Graduate. It is such a special day. We have Mr. Edward Franklin III with us. He will be our presenter. He's going to introduce himself. So thank you all for coming.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I'm going to say good evening. I hope everybody had a wonderful day. I appreciate everybody coming out and sharing their time with us. This is going to be some great information. This is going to be very informal, so I hope you're comfortable in your home, relaxed. I hope life is doing well for you. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Alexander for allowing me to be able to present to you guys. Big thanks to the Office of Student Success. Continue to do this great work because it's very necessary. Just before we get into things, I just like to always have people understand who I am. So my name is Edward Franklin. I currently work at the University of Delaware in the Center for Black Culture. I'm the program coordinator, so I'm in charge of a lot of the large-scale multicultural programming on campus and as it relates to some of our student organizations. Just a quick fact about myself. Over the last 2 years, I've lost 100 pounds. So if there's any goals or if there are any things that you have your mindset on or that you're currently doing, I just say steadfast. Stay steadfast in those things because the work is always going to pay off in the long run. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of things. I procrastinated my way through this presentation. Unfortunately, I did. And I want to normalize procrastination to an extent so everybody understands that it's not something that only a few people deal with. For the most part, a lot of people worry or fail because of procrastination. The reason why I procrastinated was because I had so much work going on that I needed a break. So I decided to go to Puerto Rico and I spent some good time with some friends, enjoyed myself, and then came back to more work. And then I came back to work that I didn't expect. And then before you know it, I was in a space where I was like, oh, wow, I have other responsibilities and things that I need to be focused on as well. In the long run, I was able to get it done, but I definitely procrastinated. So there's no shame in the game. Everyone has dealt with procrastination in some way, shape, or form, and I'm not immune to it. And most likely neither or none of you guys are as well. All right, so why do we procrastinate? First, the fear of the unknown. Oh, and excuse my exclamation point there. And secondly, lack of motivation. Third, sometimes we get distracted, striving for perfection. We procrastinate sometimes because it's hard. And a lot of the time we might not have the time, or we think we have too much time than we really do. I'm not sure about you guys, but I would say of this list of things, the thing that probably makes me procrastinate the most is getting distracted. I enjoy being active and being the person who does the most. And a lot of times when you do the most, you get pulled in a lot of different directions and then you realize like you have a lot of things on your plate and managing it all isn't always easy. So this is just I just wanted to note some of the major reasons why we procrastinate. Not knowing what to do, not feeling like we have the motivation or the desire to move forward with something. You don't really have the energy that the task might require, so you never really move on. Or you know exactly what it's going to require and you don't want to do it, or you don't have the energy to do it, so you leave it alone or you just let it sit. And the reality of the situation is none of those things result in things getting done. So as you guys kind of see with the illustration I have here with Drake, he doesn't really, when it comes to studying for the final, he's like, I don't really got too much time. But then he's trying to also calculate, how low of a score can I get in order to pass this class? And the reality is he looks real calm, but for a lot of people, that's a very stressful experience. And for any of you all who might have felt that, you guys can utilize your chat. But if you can note, what that might feel like, some of the words and feelings that come to mind when you have to figure out what the numbers and make the mess work in order to pass a class, in order to be able to get the grade that you might need for something. It's never really easy or an enjoyable situation. There's 5 areas of why we all procrastinate that I kind of wanted to touch on with you guys today. Like I said, it's going to be more about kind of just casual conversation, but I took some notes and I kind of wanted to note a few things for you guys to kind of keep in mind as to why we procrastinate so you can avoid them, hopefully. One of the first things that I came across was lack of focus. there are a lot of reasons why we might lose focus while we're in school. So, similar to you all, I attended an HBCU. I'm a Lincoln University graduate, class of 2011. And as a student, I participated in a lot. I mean, from being a part of a major that was pretty taxing to being a student leader, being an RA, being involved in student groups. So I feel like doing a lot. And then also, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So still being somebody who went home often or who had things home that took his attention away from what was going on in school. I think that those were things that allowed me to lose focus a lot of the time. So in terms of your experiences, I think that might look like a full load of class credits. So if you're someone who, you initially took 15 credits a semester and now you're taking 18, or worst case scenario, it's like, listen, no, I need 21 credits to graduate. So I need permission to take some extra classes. So now I'm really another level when it comes to my course load and how much credits and classes that I'm taking. You might be somebody who, it's not necessarily a course load that's the issue, but you might be a student athlete and you got practice early in the morning or in the evening or multiple times a week. Your body is sore, you're tired, and you need to stay up and study, and it's rough, and it's not it. Or you traveling and you miss being at home, but you got things you need to do. That's not always an easy situation. Being a student leader, being involved in student organizations, whether it be you're on an executive board and you're the president of 3 different clubs because, you're just that dope, or, you're that talented in ways that you enjoy and you're a benefit to these different groups and organizations. Whether you might have a job, you have finances and things you need to be focused on and taken care of outside of what's going on in the classroom. You have family drama back at home. You got friend drama at home or on campus. You got relationship drama. Managing all of those things is not easy by far. So I don't want you guys for a moment to feel like it is easy. And then if I'm being honest with you, even in today's day and age, to add on some of the additional things like about going through a pandemic, people dying left and right, particularly in terms of like Black people, how the world might treat Black people, and just the craziness that we've seen in the world. I feel like there are all things that can distract people, that can allow people to lose focus on themselves, on things that matter or things that they've been working hard on. So I don't want you guys to feel like you shouldn't in any way, shape, or form lose focus, but you can't allow yourself to lose focus and procrastinate and not get the things done that you need to get done. In terms of like perfectionism, I'm not sure about your backgrounds, but I was not someone who did the best in school. In terms of like high school, I just didn't take school seriously. I wasn't somebody who got good grades because of my family and I wanted to make somebody proud, or it was like, if I don't get these grades, something's going to happen to me. And I feel like that attitude transitioned into college. So when I was in college, it wasn't about getting grades because if I didn't, my parent or somebody was going to do something or feel some kind of way about it. I feel like it was literally just about me. So in terms of me doing well in school, it was because I wanted to do that well, not necessarily because I had to do well for somebody else. It was because I had to do well so I could be able to stay. Because my issue was not being able to afford school, but that's another program for another time. But in terms of not being a good student and feeling like I need to be the best student, and if I'm not getting A's and I'm not passing everything with flying colors, then I'm not good enough or it's not well enough, and not really valuing the effort that I am putting into the things that I put in. So I don't put in any effort at all. It's like I need all or none. And the reality is, more times than not, that's not going to provide you all with what you need. You have to take the small wins, the big wins, and we'll talk about the losses and what those really are a little bit later. But the reality of the situation is no one is perfect. Your reputation, it doesn't need, in terms of it being perfect, of gotten 4.0, I think it's an awesome achievement. But I think if you go through college and you get an A in every course and you don't grow or change as a person, you have wasted your time. I'm gonna say it one more time just so it's really sinking. The reason why you go to college and stay in college is going to be because of your grades, your academics. That's what you came here for, to graduate. Above all, you came here to get that degree, to learn, to grow as a person. You have to walk away with that piece of paper, though. With that, if you don't grow or change as a person while you are in school getting that degree, remember, that's what the goal is, you've wasted your time. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better. It's about growing. It's about challenging yourself and being challenged and becoming a better person because of it. So you don't have to be perfect. And you're not disappointing anybody by not being perfect. So don't allow that to be a reason why you never start. It's because you're afraid that you're not perfect. And it won't be perfect. In terms of fear of failure, I would say, and this is like my mom used to say to us, I don't know about y'all, but like when the bill collectors call, such and such don't live here. Fear does not live here. We're going to let that echo and ring one more time. Fear does not live here. You cannot be afraid to fail. I feel like, I'm not sure if it might have been like Steve Harvey or somebody recently talked about, failing, but, in terms of like, you want to fail forward. Well, no, matter of fact, I'm lying. I think that was Denzel. Denzel said it, yes. Denzel said it. He said, if you're going to fail, listen, fail forward. Because it's all about growing. It's not L's, it's really you learning lessons. I think a lot of the times people don't understand, like, your greatest achievement is on the opposite side of fear. And you can't allow fear of failing to allow you to procrastinate and not get started because you think of everything bad that's going to happen. How about you try something different? How about you try something new and start giving positive talk to yourself? And instead of telling yourself everything that can go wrong, everything that can go right. So instead of, if I fail this test or if I fail this class, I'm not going to do this. And if this doesn't go right, and if I can't get an A on this, then I'm not going to be able to get that. No, how about if I bust my behind, if I work hard, if I study, if I remove some distractions, whether that be things, whether that be people, whether that be substances, whatever the case may be. If I remove certain things and I dedicate my time and my energy and I stay disciplined to what it is that I said I want and how I said I wanted it and how I'm going to need to go about getting it, I may get what I'm looking for. And if I don't, I need to try again. So we cannot be afraid to fail. And like I said before, I feel like a lot of the times we learn a lot from failure. So don't be afraid of it. You have to embrace it. I feel like when you embrace it, it becomes a lot less scary. It's not something that you need to run from. It's something that if you come across, you know how to deal with. The more times you fail, I think, unfortunately, failing becomes a little bit easier the more times you fail. You learn how to do it a little bit differently. You learn from mistakes. I don't think it's important to make the same mistakes continuously, but don't be afraid to make them. In terms of lack of energy, the reality is senioritis is a real thing, y'all. So if you have anybody in the chat, if you are somebody who are currently a senior or, sometimes it's even just towards the end of the year, I feel like a semester could be draining. It's like somebody beat you up. Like you was in a heavyweight fight and you caught an upper hook, a left cross, and somebody did you dirty. And unfortunately, sometimes that can be really, really draining. But the goal is for you to finish. And I would just pose a question in terms of asking you all, have you come this far to not finish? All of the long nights, all of the chapters read, all of the assignments turned in, was it for nothing? Because if you do not continue on, then at the end of the day, that is the answer. It will be for nothing. So continue to put in the energy until the end. A lot of people feel like multitasking is a positive thing. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, studies show that it does not create more effectiveness. So for some students who may be engaging in a lot of different activities and things and feel like they're drained and that's why they procrastinate, it's like, I'm going to get to that paper. I'm going to study for that test. I'm going to get to that, I'm going to get to that assignment, but I got to do this first. Or I got to do that first. I got to go pick up my sister first. Or, I'm going to do it, but I got to go home this weekend. But when I come back from the weekend, I'm going to get it done. Or, I'm going to, because I'm the president of this organization, I need to organize the stuff for this event. But you know, my other organization also is having a program that I want to go to and need to support. But my girlfriend is trying to come over and she want to talk. But yeah, and still, I still have this paper that I need to do. You can't do it all at the same time. It's not good for you to try to do it all at the same time. You need to pick things and work on them and get them done and then move on to the next thing. Making lists, crossing things off of your list. These are all things that are very, very important. Last but not least, one of the other things I wanted to talk to you guys about was like Lady Luck. The attitude of feeling like, you know what? If I were a gambling man, I'd be rich. Like I can, you know, to the wire. I don't know if you guys have seen that social media post. I think it was like Watch the Yard, where it was like drumline beat was behind it and somebody was on the computer and it was like you have to type in and have a paper done by 12. And it was like the last 10 minutes and homie was going in. I mean, like doing the I mean, it was absolutely a replication of how I feel like I and many other people will probably have come down to the wire of doing a paper or submitting something by 12 o'clock in order for you to have it in on time. And the stress that he was under was magnified to another level. And it's probably because he procrastinated. There's no reason why you are trying to finish a paper that's due at 12 at 11:52. So don't try your luck. It's not a good idea, or it's the people. When I say try your luck, it's also at this point at this point it's above me now. Like I'm just give it to God. You can't give God every every test. Like you know what it is. You have to at some point put in the work to have the goals achieved that you set out for. So we're gonna take 2 seconds, right? And what I want you guys to do is to just read the scenario below. And then we're going to come back and I'm kind of going to just run through what I think or what might be some of the best options for this student. So I'm just going to give you guys 2 minutes to read over the scenario and then tell me, or, you know, be prepared, even if it's communicating in the chat, what you think this student should do to bounce back and secure their GPA.
Also, I wanted to say, if anyone wanted to talk.
All right, so student A is taking their gen ed science course this semester. Science is not their area of strength. They get their first assignment back, and unfortunately, they failed. To keep their 2.5 GPA, this student needs to get at least a B plus in this class. What steps should this student take to bounce back and secure their GPA? Okay, someone said they should be getting tutoring. Absolutely. Absolutely. And now let's be intentional, not just any type of tutoring. They need to be getting what type of tutoring? Science tutoring. Does any other student have any other recommendations on what this student may need to be doing in order to bounce back and secure their GPA? Secure the bag. Go to the professor's office hours. Absolutely. Office hours are a plus. I know in this new space that we're in right now, that might look a little bit different, but it still serves the same purpose. It's an opportunity for students to be able to connect with their professors on a one-on-one basis, which is always ideal for being able to share information, get information, and really it's the most effective way of being able to build those relationships. Does anybody else besides trying to get some tutoring, going to that professor's office hours, are there any other recommendations on things that this student could do in order to kind of turn things around? So I would say one of the first statements or one of the main things I would want you guys to take from this is that you've never gone too far left to turn right. That meaning it's never too late or too early to make a change. It's never too late or too early to make a change. So I don't care if there are 10 assignments and you failed 7 of them. It's never too late for you to turn around and pass those others, because that might be what you need to convince somebody that you're worth a second chance. That might be what you need in order to give yourself the confidence of knowing that you actually could learn it and get it, and now you can be able to go on and continue to do it. And it's never too early to make a change. I'm saying that once you see something is not right, or, I'm having difficulty with this, don't feel too proud to get ahead of it rather than, and not to say being too confident or overconfident, but what is the harm in providing yourself with the most amount of resources or opportunity rather than just relying on yourself? I'm like that. I've been like that in many cases where you feel like, I got this. I could do this. I'm good. How many people, if you've said that to yourself before, I'm good, you could write it up in the chat. I'm good. That statement right there is probably one of the biggest lies that people have ever said when it comes to taking care of business. I'm good, knowing you're not good. You haven't been good. So, so this is the first assignment. So we're on that side of the sphere. It's not too late because it's the first one, but it's not too early. So it's not too early for you to be able to, like you said, get some tutoring. Hey, let me reach out to a science tutor, whether if this is a biology or chemistry or physics or, one of the engineering classes, I'm not even sure. But whatever this area of science is that the student isn't doing well, that is where they need to be trying to find a tutor. If they can't find a tutor, second best bet is someone who is doing well in that class. So if one of your friends, best case scenario, is doing well, you need to be working with them. There's no shame in asking students or, who's doing well in this class? And if so, how you doing well? Share the information. What am I not getting? You can still study on your own. You can study with other people. But I think that definitely making a change first is what's most important. You say going to office hours. So reaching out to your professor and letting them know, like, hey, can I set up a meeting with you? Can we discuss where or what I didn't understand? And that takes accountability. So that means you making sure that you review what was done or what wasn't done and come into some type of understanding for yourself on what you think you need to do. So that way you can be prepared in those situations if they ask you, hey, what do you think you need to be doing? Of course, you need to be open to whatever their recommendations are, but you should also have your own plan of action on what you want to do or how you might want to do it. Are there any other recommendations that you guys have before I share some of the last ones that I might have with you guys on what that student should do? Okay. There is an email template that I think the student could or should send to their professor. It's very short. And if you're in a space where you can take this down in terms of these notes, write down these 5 little things. The first email that the student should send to their professor is saying, hey, my name is blank. My goal is to achieve an A in your course. I want us to work as a team. If there's any time where you see me falling below that standard, I'd really appreciate it if you brought it to my attention so I can make any of the necessary changes in order to be able to achieve that A. You send that in the beginning of the semester, it's more about you just putting out a carrot of connection. It's you setting the standard for yourself. It's holding yourself accountable first and foremost. And it's also a way of being able to hold them accountable so they know who you are and you're not just a number at a place, but a name in the face. Midterms is another time where a lot of people are going to reach out to those professors, whether they be for positive or negative things. What you want to do is kind of get ahead of that if you could. So between the beginning of the semester and midterms, just send a quick brief small message to your professor. Hey, hope all is well. This is where you start to be able to create your own relationship. You can be able to have any type of short message you might want to say, whether it be happy Friday, just wanted to check in. If you want to bring up something that you guys talked about in class, if you have any questions at that point, that is when you ask it. Your third email is going to be at midterms. At this point, you kind of know what the grade you might have in the class, so you have an expectation of where you should be. That is when you check in to make sure that either what you think you're getting is what it is, or you're aware of what it actually is. So, hey, at this point, I feel like I'm doing well in this semester. My goal is still to be able to earn an A. I feel like right now I'm at like a B+. If there's anything that I need to be doing, any opportunity for any extra credit, any of those things, please let me know. Between midterms and the end of the semester, a quick little drop-in message again. Bow. Hey, just checking in, just saying hello. That is another opportunity to engage. And then finally, at the end of the semester, this is where you cash out, and it's, hey, if there are any opportunity, would you be willing to serve as a letter of recommendation? If there are any internship opportunities that you're aware of, please make me aware of them. If I can put you down as a reference, whatever that engagement look like, that is your, because these professors, depending on what field you might want to be in, they might be the one to write the letter of recommendation for you. They might be the plug. They might be the one doing that type of research. They might be the one with the publication. They might be the one with the connection to the grad school. So I think that sometimes getting ahead, and if you utilize that framework for all of your professors throughout whatever semester you might be in, the likelihood of you having to procrastinate is going to be less because you're going to be always engaging on the front end when it comes to your academics. So what you don't want to do is be Drake, after you fail that first exam. Because it don't have to be you. And really, the more times that you decide not to be Drake in this one, you definitely don't want to be Drake in this one. Because as we talked about, the goal is for you to graduate. The goal is to graduate. We talked about utilizing your resources, and I think you guys did a good job of jotting down some of the major things that entails. And like you said, signing up for office hours, whether that be with your professors, whether that be with your advisors, whether that be with any of the people who can assist you in taking care of your responsibilities, whether it be academic responsibilities or other responsibilities on campus, in terms of making sure that you get yourself access to tutoring. Don't be afraid or don't wait to reach out and ask for help, especially if you need it. And building relationships with people who genuinely care about your development and your well-being, connecting with departments like the Office of Student Success who want and can provide you with opportunities like this to learn and grow. Those are very, 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 very important. Just some quick notes like we talked about in terms of some of the things that you guys can do and making sure that you avoid procrastination and ways to win in the upcoming year. Just try your best to stay organized. If you have a planner, use it. If you utilize your notes on your phone, write lists, cross things off the list. It doesn't need to be long lists. It doesn't need to be intricate lists. It can be, listen, send my professor an email on this date. Jot out what the email should be about. Create timelines and deadlines for yourself. If you want to get something done, when do you want to get it done by? And what are the things you need to go do in order to get it done by that time? Eliminate the distractions, whether it be people, whether it be things, any of the sort. If it's not actively something that is going to help you in the long run, whether it be the next, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, don't give it 5 minutes of your time. And in terms of when we talk about time, making sure that you're taking care of yourself too. Make time for yourself. On the list of responsibilities, there should be a space or time for you, whether that be you just being able to debrief and relax, you being able to meditate, you being able to work out, you being able to do whatever that thing is that is going to provide you or refuel you or get you in line with achieving your goal. And learning that it's okay to not be perfect. We are not perfect. And the sooner you guys learn to be okay with being imperfect, I think is going to allow you to be more actively engaged and not procrastinating and going after your goals and not being afraid of what may or may not happen that you may or may not be able to control. As I always say, I am an open book and I am an open resource. So I would appreciate, or, if any of you all need anything, please feel free to reach out. I have my email and my phone number located here on the screen. So if I can be a resource to any of you, whether it be as individuals or with student groups or in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to contact me.
Mr. Edward Franklin, thank you so much. While people are typing in the chat, I just wanted to send my extreme appreciation to you. I know that you work in higher ed, and so we are on go at this time of year. So for you to find time for us, I really appreciate it. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that Mr. Franklin talked about today. and just kind of align them to DSU. So midterms, just in case you were not aware, midterms start February 22nd through February 26th. If you need a tutor of any kind, you can sign up for tutoring on Banner self-service. Through my DESU, and it's a link that literally says tutoring appointments and advising appointments. We also have, he mentioned something great about contacting your professors before midterms, at midterms, and then doing the final check-in. That was awesome. I think people should adopt that. Okay, for people who attended the program and you just wanted to go over some things, or maybe your professor sent you to watch this video and you wanted to catch jewels, we also have a YouTube channel, but please follow us on Instagram at OSS_DSU. We have links to all of that stuff. Thank you so much, Mr. Franklin. We really do appreciate your time. And students, thank you so much for coming. We have another event on Monday. It's study skills for online courses. Please join us, and you can follow us at OSS_DSU for details about that event. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. Have a good night, everybody.